You can call it after a hard-fought defeat at the home of cricket at the iconic Lords, the men in blue are once again ready. You have that break in Manchester, what you always get between a third test and a fourth test. You're coming back playing at Old Trafford, not a football ground, it's a cricket ground, but we do not have a good record out here. That's the only concern. We do not have a good record in red ball cricket. If you watch social media, if you're a social media fanatic, you will definitely see that yesterday Manchester United came across and they had a chat with Indian players. They had a good time, and I'm sure that Kuldeep Yadav had the best time of his life. But talking about what happened in Lords, and I drag you both back into what happened out there. Neha, starting with you. Do you feel sad for either of Jadeja or Siraj?
Absolutely, Preetham. I think the match was heartbreaking, but I think it kind of just showed you what Test cricket is all about, right? We got to see
Correct.
a fierce battle between bat and ball, both sides just not wanting to give away, and India just losing by that minuscule margin of 22 runs. I think just to quote myself from earlier. A case of being so close yet so far. The hurt definitely
Absolutely.
lingers as an Indian fan, but as a Test cricket fan, I think it was just quite the contest to watch, and heart really does go out to Jadeja and Siraj. Both of them just gave it their all, but sometimes it's just never enough, I suppose.
Absolutely. When you said about that's the reason, there's a beauty of this format. Do you also stick to your point saying that long live Test cricket, because nobody can give you such kind of nail biting thrillers. You can say T20 cricket as well, but none comes closer to Test cricket, according to me. What about yours?
Absolutely, Preetham. I think nothing really comes close to Test cricket. It is the pinnacle, of the sport, and I think a lot of players, kind of aspire to play the longest format of the game because of
Correct.
how much it means to them. And yeah, I think this test really showed us why that is the reason, and gives us a lot more reasons to be excited about the fourth test. As much as a lot of injury concerns are looming, we're going to be discussing
Yeah,
that too.
absolutely.
But I'm sure the Indian team will find a way to fight back.
Absolutely, they should find a way to fight back. Though it's a young team, Ravi Shastri said a little bit of luck, and India should have been 3-0 up in this Test series. And I absolutely agree. But final question of that third Test.co, we talk about talks are going around. Experts are talking about the approach from Ravindra Jadeja. Not to take away the way he played, 61 unbeaten, stood there till the end. Before lunch, India were 8 down. You were looking at Mohammad Siraj. Earlier it was Jasprit Bumrah, then Mohammad Siraj. You were battling with hope, is what I think, because if you talk about, I'm sure both of you know, and also the fans who are watching as well, Headingley, Ben Stokes was in a very similar situation with Jack Leach, and he started playing in sixes. He said that now or never, I'm going to play in sixes. At that point in the lunch break, did you even think of the match going beyond tea? Should have the match ended way before that? Because no matter, or did you think that Jadeja had the right approach of taking single in the fourth and fifth over and hope that Siraj or Bumrah survives?
Well, I think, of course, sitting in cozy corners in our room, it's easier said than done. But again, I feel that, of course, the situation was perhaps the same with regard to Stokes or Jadeja. But again, the
Correct.
track, the conditions, and of course, the kind of seeming conditions that Lords had as compared to what Headingley had back then in the Ashes. I think that was a big difference in the standard of cricket that was played. So perhaps it was a little easier for Stokes to take on the attack. But I think after Bumrah fell, when you knew that Siraj is not that great a tail ender as compared to what a Bumrah is, I think Jadeja could have perhaps taken the attack to the opposition or retained the strike. He, I think, showed a little more faith than I would have expected on Siraj to defend that, and maybe he took it a little too deep. Someone like
Correct.
an MS Dhoni, his CSK counterpart, often did all his life. So I felt that Jadeja took it a little too deep, but again, that doesn't take away any credit from the kind of innings he played. I mean, it's still a very
But
wonderful knock,
also taking to the fact that the way he played, did that force Jasprit Bumrah to play that kind of a shot and then get out?
Absolutely. I think that was certainly a move that Bumrah wouldn't have done if, the runs were coming. And perhaps there was a phase, a dry period where they were not at all even rotating the
Correct.
strike. It was just a bit too defensive, and it was only giving England a greater chance to, pounce on us. On us. So that is why I felt that Jadeja could have perhaps attacked in a few intervals, but sadly that didn't happen. So again, not taking any credit away from his innings, but I think in certain phases of that game, I think we could have been a little more closer than we were.
Okay, absolutely. And then now coming to focusing on the fourth test, which is Manchester, and then we have the Oval fifth one. Nia, squad update for India. It doesn't look good in terms of the injuries as well. First of all, massive blow. No Nitish Kumar Reddy. Now you have no Arshdeep Singh for the fourth test. Akashdeep is not 100% fit. I'm saying that not even 50% fit. What happens to the bowling attack?
Honestly, Preetham, it's very concerning signs when you come across news like this. Half your bowling attack just, has vanished, disappeared, injured, and all of that. Really puts, the team management and the think tank in a proper conundrum as to how do you go about dealing with this situation. Who are some of the right sort of, reinforcements to bring in? Really happy to see Anshul Kamboj, kind of being
Oh,
called up.
yes.
I think he's someone we really rate highly, someone I really wanted, right from the start itself. So I think he could almost be a starter, with the way the
Wow.
think tank would sort of rate him, and the fact that he's been brought in immediately as well. India will definitely miss the services of Nitish Kumar Reddy. I know he's not had probably the best kind of series or as much as we would have expected him, considering we have seen him in Australia as well. But the knee injury is always very concerning. Probably could be, with respect to him having to do both. Batting and bowling, and that sort of taking a toll. But even Harshdeep getting injured, like in the nets, not even playing a match,
Yeah.
Akashdeep getting injured, it's just very scary signs as to what is
Correct.
going wrong and is the
Correct.
workload being managed
Oh
efficiently.
yes, that is very important to say. But when you talk about the first comment, Rohan comes up and says that Kuldeep should play alongside Kamboj and Bumrah and Siraj. Bumrah and Siraj are default; they should play definitely. Kuldeep Yadav, three spinners. Are you even thinking about that? Because Manchester is a condition nowadays. I'm hearing about the weather report every day. It's raining. Not today though. But your thoughts on that, Neha?
I mean, very tempted, Preetham, to sort of go ahead with Kuldeep Yadav. But I think it again takes me back to a conversation we were having off record that doesn't, sort of make our batting very
Correct.
unidimensional. Because having someone like a Washington Sundar was, definitely helping make that batting order a little more
But
deep.
his
And
comment fourth day after the match did not help us.
yeah, it clearly didn't age that well. I mean, he's still young, so you probably expect something like that. But the kind of batting value that Washington Sundar brings in, would really help. I mean, in an ideal world, it would have been amazing to bring in someone like Kuldeep, but considering, the kind of situation that the batting order is in, we see
Correct.
Yashasvi do well in patches and then, get dismissed early. Karun Nair is probably not in the best possible form, so you need
That's a
that.
very, very debatable question I have for you coming through. But I'm not going to lie to the viewers, but both of us, like Neha and Orko, both of them have constantly been texting me behind the scenes, say that Anshul Kamboj needs and deserves a spot ahead of Harshit Rana. Over to you, Orko, in terms of both. How big a blow is Nitish Kumar Reddy into the squad? He has been bowling well, especially in the third test. He bowled so well to Zach Crawley and others. And similarly, Anshul Kamboj. Do you think a debut cap is on the corner?
Well, definitely, Kamboj certainly deserves, and he will make the cut, I feel, because we have seen the kind of performances the others did. Shardul didn't look convincing with bat and ball. Prasid was nowhere near to the best people talk about. So I think Kamboj certainly ticks that box also because the others haven't done well. And of course, Nitish Kumar Reddy is a big loss, especially the bowling value that he was already adding apart from his batting abilities. I think you have already lost two players in one. It's pretty unfortunate that in such a crucial juncture of the series, we lost a player as good as him, with the kind of skills he provides. So certainly it would take, two players to replace the kind of, impact Nitish would have created. So I'm happy for Kamboj, definitely. I think when the young guns come in, we remember, the profound memories from the BGT in 2021. So if the young guns do get a chance, I think perhaps the best results are about to come for us.
Absolutely. And similarly, going to England as well, we know, right? I'm sure both of us know as well in terms of county cricket. Liam Dawson is coming back into the squad after a long, long time for England. That makes their batting more strong as well and replacing Shoaib Bashi, who has been ruled out as well. Now, I think Orko also coming to the fact that Gus Atkinson might be fit enough. Is he on likely to replace somebody like a Chris Wokes, who hasn't looked at his best in the series so far?
Well, again, that'll be a very tough call, because Vokes with the experience he adds, and also because he had a good test match previously. Maybe they may not look to, replace him with someone like Atkinson just yet. But yes, Liam Dawson, obviously, he has always deserved his chances. He's been doing well in county. And I think this adds greater batting depth to England because he's, again, a very, very good batter.
11 players
Apart
come back,
from
all 11.
Exactly, all 11 of them can bat. That's pretty much the theory England often functions with. They believe in having enough batters and bowlers. Those multi-dimensional players is what they boast of. So I think this has made them a little more stronger. But again, if you look at the matchups, India have a bunch of left-handers. So it'll be interesting to see how Liam Dawson versus the Indian left-handers matchup kind of pans out.
You're going towards that player itself. Yes, how Liam Dawson goes against Rishabh Pant is going to be the question mark. But Neha, you have a question out here saying that Manchester is a nightmare for India. We understand that. We haven't opened our account in the stadium. But same was Edgbaston. But we won the second test. Records can be broken once again. We might win the fourth because we cannot afford to lose the test series. So England have also announced their 11. I'm slowly, steadily going to come out there. If you can share us the playing 11 in the comments as well while we're talking about that. But your thoughts on Manchester conditions way? Can you think about that? What are your thoughts about conditions in Manchester? Win the toss? Are you thinking of bowling first like England always want?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the conditions in Manchester too. Initially, we'd see some very spicy pitches. The pitch had a lot to offer, but I think the discourse has been, of how the pitches have just been so flat in England, have favored the batters so much. Batters have made a lot of merry on the surface. Bowlers have largely struggled, but you still see, some very inspiring bowling performances coming through. So, in all fairness, I think the team batting first, the team winning the toss would probably be inclined to bowl first,
Correct.
just to get an understanding of the conditions. Plus, it's raining, it's overcast, the pitch might have a lot more and could really make life difficult, for
Correct.
batters on that sort of a surface. So excited to see either way what decision the teams end up taking. They're coming from
But
a lot
match day
later as well.
-2, if you are watching the Twitter or anybody in terms of the pitch, don't be surprised. There is enough grass at the moment. Before the toss, you will see all the grass being trimmed away. We have seen this in the past three tests as well. What about the players to watch out for? Let's take a look into that, Arco. Okay, so this is what I've gone for, Arco. India's Yashasvi Jaiswal. Talks have constantly been going around. He has to perform. I honestly want him to give us a good start alongside KL Rahul. Ravindra Jadeja, he has been batting so well constantly, but his bowling needs to come into play as well. And Shumal Gill, one off test, and the talks have started getting continuing about the Prince.
Well, again, as we even talked behind the scenes, I think people are being a bit too harsh on Gill, perhaps because of the comparisons of with Kohli, calling him the successor of Kohli, the prince, the man with the MRF bat, the captain of the team. So I think
Correct.
they're just being a bit too harsh and perhaps premature, in their approach towards criticizing him. I think he had a
Correct.
wonderful series as of now, and maybe the best is yet to come, and that's what we would hope as an India fan. So I think this test would be, just the right platform for Gill to prove himself that he can perform in situations like these when the team needs him the most, even as a skipper. And Jaiswal, definitely he has to prove himself. Apart from the first test, I think he hasn't really been at his best as what we know about Jaiswal. So he'll be crucial, and especially because we just talked about Nitish Reddy not being
Correct.
there. Our batting depth has been cut short, and with Karun Nair and someone like him looking a bit too unconvincing, unless someone like a Jurel or Sai Sudarshan coming in the mix, you need to know that each wicket, especially in the top order, becomes valuable. So I think if he holds value to his wicket, tries to play the longer innings, I think Jaiswal has to deal with this with a bit of consistency, trying to convert his starts into bigger scores. And again, Jadeja, he has certainly surprised me. I didn't expect him to come this good with the bat in this series. And if the bowling also does the talking, definitely he's a player to watch out for.
100%. Yes, pretty much summed up all the three Indian players. You are sticking to the same as I've gone for as well. England and Neha, I'm going for Liam Dawson. He can be somebody out of syllabus for India. Very experienced. Joe Root. If you talk about Joe Root's number, that's insane for a player like him. He's just 120 runs away from being just behind Sachin Tendulkar in terms of most international runs. That's outstanding, insane. I'm just short of words. Jofra Archer, beware of that man as well. Your thoughts, please.
I mean, these are stellar picks, Preetham, no doubt about it at all. Liam Dawson, slightly left field choice, but then considering, the kind of form he's coming in from domestic circuit,
Correct.
I'm not entirely surprised you would want to go in with him. And the fact that England has been struggling with their spin bowling arsenal, there's only so much Joe Root can do because Shoaib Bashir has not had that sort of an ideal series. I think Liam Dawson is definitely a shot in the arm, something they would welcome with open arms. And talking about Joe Root, class personified, I mean, I think adjectives will fall short because of the kind of impact, right, he brings in every single time. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on to break the record in the next test itself because
Exactly,
of the kind
exactly.
of prolific form he's in, right? And just to talk a little bit about Jofra Archer, I mean, a lot of us, I think including me, were like, yeah, he's coming to red ball after such a long period of time. Does he still have it in him? Man, did he show us? I mean,
It
the
just took
length.
him 3 balls to strike with the new ball against Yashasvi Jaiswal in the third test.
Exactly. And the kind of confidence he was coming in with, that same aggression, right? He is, again, such a value add to that England pace attack as well. But, like, for the longest time, we thought, right, who after Stuart Broad, who after
Correct,
Jimmy Anderson? But it's reminders like this that, Jofra Archer is
correct.
probably here to stay, and very excited to see how he goes against this, again, fired up Indian batting lineup
True
because a
that.
lot of send offs, a lot of chatter was happening. So let's see what the fourth test has in store for us.
And he's definitely a crowd favorite because crowd were definitely going behind him when each and every time Jofra Archer was steaming into ball. Fair enough. Talking about the players to watch out for is done. Now time for battles. Orko, here it is. I've gone with my three battles to watch out for. Something surprising in battle number one. Harry Brook versus Ravindra Jadeja is my battle number one. Jasprit Bumrah versus Joe Root continues. Yashasvi Jaiswal versus Jofra Archer continues. Your thoughts on that, please?
Well, definitely. Brook is pretty prolific against pace. Maybe someone like a Bumrah troubled him, but again, Jadeja versus Harry Brook would be a good matchup. Even I think Sundar versus Brook or someone like Sundar versus Jamie Smith also would be a very nice battle, given the fact how Sundar kind of troubled them with the kind of height he has, and that nipping turn that he occasionally gets, especially in the later half of the Test match. I think Sundar would also have a key role in this Test match if the pitch does offer a bit of grip and turn in the later half. And again,
Agree.
Root versus Bumrah would be, the clash everyone would watch out for. He's like the best batter versus Bumrah, our best bowler. So that will determine a lot of things going into this Test match. And the Rajasthan Royals battle, no friends, no enemies between them. Certainly, Jofra Archer and Jaiswal again a battle which people would be eyeing to because Jaiswal is the one who gets us the starts and he would,
Correct.
as we already talked about, want to convert into a bigger score and to do that, of course, he has to neutralize the threat that Archer provides. So I think these three battles will be very crucial to determine the chances of respective teams.
So you agree with my three battles as well. You've defined it so well as you have always done it over the past. Time for the predicted playing 11. England's predicted 11 on your way. Over to you, Orko. It doesn't matter actually because this was my playing 11, but I can throw this out of the window at the moment because the England playing 11 has been announced. And this is what I've gone with. This is what they have gone with. Chris Woakes stays, Orko. Chris Woakes stays. It's just one change. Liam Dawson comes in for Bashir. No Gus Atkinson. Chris Woakes stays. Your decision, your thoughts on that? Good decision by England?
Well, I think definitely because he has been doing well. I mean, Vokes adds experience, batting value, and also he had a good test previously. I think he will be crucial for this team. He's like that spearhead of the bowling attack apart from Archer. So I think Vokes retaining his place does make sense. Bryden Cass again, he's someone who's done well in almost all the tests he has played. Again, adds a lot of batting value. So I think they are pretty much sorted in the pace department. Liam Dawson, as we said, coming in with great form, but those four left-handers that India have, I think that would be a wonderful matchup to watch out for. So I think overall England do look sorted. I was a bit surprised as to why they have again backed Zach Crawley because I feel that he was in a bit of a scanner with the kind of form he has been. But they say he's like the cornerstone of baseball cricket, so maybe why they are looking to back him. But his recent form, perhaps I would have dropped Zach Crawley and looked at someone else. People like Dom Sibley has been doing well in the county cricket, so maybe I would have looked at him, or maybe Jacob Bethel as well. But again, that's obviously a choice that Brendan McCallum and Stokes have made, and certainly we have to see as to how he does.
it could be something off cricket as well, because the way he utilized his brains and ensured that England play just one over in that game, wasting 10 minutes because of side screen issues and others. It could be that as well. Indian playing 11. This is where pressure comes. Debates will come as well. Nia, over to you. India's playing 11.
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at India's playing 11, it's going to be quite a challenge, right? I mean, just the injuries and all of those concerns coming in, India will have to bring in a lot of forced changes. I think I quite agree with the playing 11 you have in place, because Anshul Kamboj would definitely be a walk in this sort of a situation too, right? We have been raving about him so much time for him to, kind of just turn the India bites and do his thing. I think even the pace attack, there were concerns if Bumrah would, play this test or not, but in all likelihood, he will have to, because,
Correct.
India will need
The
his
series is on the line.
expertise to. Exactly, yeah. And what better moment than, this to
I think he
sort
should
of
play
just
or
do it
both
for
the
him.
tests. That it doesn't come if he will play this or that. He should play fourth and fifth both. Even if he lose, then I don't think so he will, because they will now shift to his workload. But if he win, he should play the fifth as well.
Ideally, Preetham, that should be the situation. But again, just looking at the workload management side of things, and how before the series itself, right, there was a declaration that it was just going to be three tests. So I think, as the optimistic Indian fans, we can hope that he can sort of be available for both
But do
the
you think
tests.
who's? But I'm asking something very interesting. Whose workload should be managed more? Is it Bumrah or is it Siraj? Because Siraj has bowled more overs than Bumrah.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to come to that too, about how Siraj often just goes under the scanner, right?
Correct.
Man's been literally bowling his heart, hasn't gone to the NCA once, touch wood, but that's the kind of quality that Siraj also sort of brings in. So if India were to really rest someone, maybe resting Siraj wouldn't be a bad option. But this is that all
But
important test
is
you
the
want to
wrong
play.
time, because Akashdeep is not fit, Arshdeep is unavailable. So you're going with this 11. Orko, over
Yeah.
to you. Any changes? Also question marks on the number 3 spot. Sticking with Karun Nair. One more chance. He asked for one. He's getting 8 innings.
Well, I think he will get his chances, and I think it's also on a tactical standpoint, because for some reason they feel that because he's a right-hander, maybe that's why they're not bringing in Sai Sudarshan. If they really wanted a right-hander, maybe Jurel would have been in the mix. I mean, if Pant doesn't keep wickets, I've been hearing that he's perhaps not fit enough to keep wickets. If he plays as a batter, then Jurel could be in the mix. But I'm still not convinced with this batting. I feel that we just have 5 to 6 proper batters, and Shardul, with the kind of player he has been of late, some people often profoundly say that he bats like a bowler and bowls like a batter. I think if Shardul doesn't pull his socks up, I think I am at least not very much convinced with this batting. I would love to add someone like a Jurel or a Sai Sudarshan, perhaps in place of even Shardul or at least Karun Nair. But otherwise, the team would largely stay the same. And knowing that we have had this long-term chronic weakness, of not having enough batting depth, collapsing this early, I would be tempted to use another batting option instead of one of the bowlers, or if required, even Karun Nair.
Can we think of that? If I'm going with the way you have said, Ravindra Jadeja comes one step down, Shardul Thakur has been dropped, Karun Nair stays, and you have Sai Sudarshan at number 6, or either of them at number 3 and 6. Because what I've watched and what I'm hearing from the journalists as well, Karun Nair has been fielding at first slip today as well. At Gully, it was Sai Sudarshan.
Well, yeah, but again, even if you look at the previous test, we were seeing that there were rumors that Nitish Reddy would not even play, but ultimately he did play. So I think these might just be mind games. Gambhir just trying to create certain illusions in the England camp through his practice sessions. We never know. But again, Sai Sudarshan, if he plays, I would be definitely happy, because I think he was dropped a bit too early. There were too little
Correct. He did
opportunities
not do
given to him
anything
as
wrong.
compared
He
to.
did not do anything wrong.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, he never did anything better or worse than Karun Nair either. I think he also deserved his set of chances, which Karun has been getting. So if they back Karun, then of course that's the choice they would want to make. Maybe someone like a Jurel or Sai Sudarshan would be the preferred alternative for me. And not just him, I would prefer to play an extra batter even ahead of a Shardul Thakur.
Okay, so according to you, Shardul Thakur is not there, and you're going with the others. And here comes another comment: says it's going to rain in Manchester. Draw on the cards. If it does, then it's India, and it's going to be bad news for Jasprit Bumrah, because then he has to play the fifth test as well. But both of you agreeing with Anshul Kamboj getting a debut. So both of them are giving a thumbs up. Over to you now, both of you. Time for predictions. I'll start with you, Orko. Your percentage.
Well, I think 60-40 in favor of England. I mean, purely because of, the momentum they are coming in. I think that it'll be a tough test for India. But again, if this situation brings the best out of the Indian team, people talk about the DNA of Gambhir and his men, trying to bring their best game when it matters. If that happens, if Bumrah, takes it upon his ego or his prestige that I have to perform when the chips are down, I would be happy if that happens. But if I look at current form and momentum, perhaps I would edge out England and put them in the driver's seat to win this game.
So if I'm taking what Aryan is saying as well, he's saying 50-50. He has a favored draw because of what the weather says. He's saying 20 each for England and India. Your thoughts on that, Neha? Orko has gone with England.
Similar to Orko here, Preetham, as much as it pains my, Indian fan heart, because right now, India is in doldrums, right? Having lost so many players to injury, this is going to be a side that's, you can't expect them to sort of struggle. And this is England on home conditions and history, there to be clinched. So I really think England definitely has the edge. And go even as far as saying 70-30 in favor of England. India really looks like they're going to have to uh, really put their best game out there to actually defeat this England side. So
Correct.
it's going to be quite an uphill task.
I think the change of Shoaib Bashir going and Liam Dawson coming in has been a blessing in disguise for England. I think they have it has made their squad even more strong. And also, this I'm going to ask you, Neha. And Aryan says also India woke up a psycho in the name of Ben Stokes. My word, that final day spell, bowling 14 overs in one spell, he's bowling 10 plus overs. How on earth can a bowler bowl that? And his pace has always been around 135 to 140. Is it possible?
I think, Preetham, this is again just a case of a big match player being awoken. And we've seen Ben Stokes, right, with that sort of clutch DNA doing it time and again for England. So I wasn't entirely surprised. And he's the kind, right? He will take the battle to the opposition. There's his heart on
Correct.
his sleeve. Will just give it his 100% to. And I think even the kind of aggression, right, that he was just displaying to the Indian
Correct.
batters was really kind of rattling them too. Yeah, I mean, Ben Stokes is an absolute beast. I really wasn't surprised seeing that. I
Exactly.
would be
He's
surprised
with
if
the
he
bat,
continues
with the
doing so.
ball, and also that
Exactly.
run out that I think that changed the complexion of the entire series of Rishabh Pant at the stroke of lunch. That will be remembered for a long, long time. So thank you so much, Neha. Thank you, Orko, as well. Both of them are saying in England. Beware of that. I hope the rain gods come and help us a little bit in terms of conditions as well. The playing 11 debate continues. England are sorted, India are not yet. What will happen? 2 more days' time. Enjoy the fourth test at Old Trafford. Sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much. And bye bye.